welcome. Thank you for coming out.
Pleasure to be here.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to begin by asking you to look at our camera
Oh.
and say your name.
Hi, my name is Charlie Geek Rosteski.
Great. So, Charlie, you know
Geek.
what?
Everybody calls me Geek.
You
My
would like-
friends call me Geek. My enemies call me Geek. Geek.
So call you Geek. Great. So, Geek, if you could go back to any moment in your past and undo one thing, what would that moment be?
Oh, I know it is. You never know. When you're doing it, you never know what's going to change your life. And for me, the event was, excuse me, the event was my grandfather pissed me off. Now, my grandfather had a lot of money. And my grandfather was old school. So you work with men, you don't work with women. That's, what it is. So my grandfather said he was going to put me through college. Well, one day, the old man pissed me off. And I mean major. So he says, go get my cigarettes. I said, okay, fine. So I go and I drive. I take his keys, drive his brand new car. The one he always says, it talks to me. It really talks to me. No, I drove his brand new talks to me car. I went and bought him his flippin' cigarettes. And when I drove home, I put it in the street and I locked the keys in it. And I walked in and I told him, here's your cigarettes, Gramps. He said, where's his keys? I said, well, they're in the car. You go get them. Well, Gramps thought I was a bit flippant. Told me he wasn't paying for college. Sent my sister to college. Now me, I was fixing stereos. I was working with electronics like I knew how to do. I was working with stereos. And then guess what? There are no stereos. Everything is this big. And now I got nothing. I'm a loser. I'll take a chance. I'll go back. If I can stop myself from doing something stupid, I can get the college education. I could work with bands. I could be out on backstage with bands, traveling the country, getting girls, which is something I don't do very often. But no, I'm a loser. That's what I'd change.
Go back and undo the past so that you could be a professional roadie.
So I could be somebody. I got the talent. I can work with the stuff. The stuff is great. But if you don't have the piece of paper, you get nothing in the world. That's the truth.
Let's go back to, you said your grandfather had pissed you off. What was going on? Why that day? Why that moment?
Why that day? Well, my grandfather, my mother's father, smoked like a chimney. Okay? So, my other grandfather, my father's father, had just been in the hospital with cancer. So, all of a sudden, the whole family's getting together and we're saying, smoking's bad. Bad, smoking's bad. And then I turned 18, and all of a sudden, Gramps sending me for the cigarettes. Gramps, I don't want to get the cigarettes. Go get the cigarettes. I don't want to get the cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad. Cigarettes are not bad. I smoke every day since I was 12. Well, one day, it got to me. I said, Gramps, I'm not going to go get the cigarettes. And he says, you've always wanted to drive my car, right? And I said, oh, yeah, it's a new car. Okay. So I went and got the cigarettes. But I was still pissed off. What can I say?
How would you change that?
How
would you interfere with that moment?
Well, first thing I would do, I think, is I would go to the store, the cigarette store, and the first thing I would do is I would open the car door when I'm inside and unlock the back doors. Automatically, the car's not locked. Now, I'm not smart enough, or I wasn't anyway, not smart enough to say, okay, I'll lock all the doors. I only locked the front door. If all the other ones were unlocked, the keys aren't locked in the car. And then, when I came out of the thing, assuming I didn't recognize myself, I would talk to myself. I would say, hey, guy, you look pissed off. What's the story? Tell a few jokes. Talk, just like two people walking in the park, Maybe then I wouldn't be so pissed off. The car wouldn't be locked. Gramps would get his cigarettes, and they'd be all set. Of course, I can't say what would happen to my sister. I mean, she's a cardiac surgeon. Well, I guess I'm selfish. I'm a selfish loser.
If you went to school, what were you going to go to school for?
Oh, electronics, man.
Electronics. Stay
Electronics. I was going to stay with it. I would get into theater, electronics. There was a brand new subject coming up then called computer science. Maybe take a shot at it. Who knows? I'm a creative guy. Maybe I'd be a programmer. Heck, I even created a limerick coming into the place. Yeah. That's how I put it together. I said, hey, Clearview has a brand new power. And with these gifts, they're going to shower. They'll send you back in time to repair an old crime, but you only have just the 1 hour. Huh?
How did your relationship with your grandfather change after he said, nope, not going to pay for your schooling anymore?
Well,
You've lost it.
It really didn't change much then because I didn't know what I had done then. As far as I was concerned, I wasn't going to college. I was good. I can fix stereos. I mean, I taught myself electronics, but I knew of it. You work in a business that big and booming. There were stereo stores all over the place. Components, stereos, that, big pieces, boxes. And they were great. They were hiring techs. I moved up, was the assistant manager at one place I was at. But then all of a sudden, there are no more stereos. Well, there's still CD players and DVDs. Those ain't anymore. Now it's Netflix and iTunes. There's nothing moving there. There's none to fix. And if you do want to fix something, you pop it open, you can't fix it anyway, you buy a new one. Now I'm selling this stuff. The stuff I don't like because it put me out of a job.
Where do you work?
What?
What do you do for a living?
Best Buy. I'm selling audio. I mean, I know about audio. Somebody asked me, but then they start talking about. I used to when I worked with audio, I knew you'd like it because it sounds good. Now, well, how many gigahertz and megapixels does it have? Lots. That's what I know.
Do you have any other concerns or questions about the process or time travel and the effects it would have on you?
Well, not the time travel.
Okay.
However, I would like, if I convince myself in, let's just say 25 minutes, I convince myself that, and everything goes well, am I allowed to drop in on some old friends? Can I tell Alicia that she went and got fat and she should have never not dated me? Stuff like that. Go back to the neighborhood.
You have an hour.
All right.
You could do what you want in that hour. You just have to make it back to that spot. So let's say you got there 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, convinced. Your life is forever on a different path.
Right.
Presumably better.
A Hardee's peach milkshake. I know what you're going to say. I want a peach milkshake from Hardee's.
And then
That's what I want.
What do you do with the remaining?
Well, I told you. I'm going to go find Alicia and tell her she got fat when she got older. After that, I don't know. I figure a peach milkshake at Hardee's, saving my life. Maybe I'll start an account. Start some money account so that my sister can actually go to college after I do. I don't think Gramps could pay for both. But other than that, I think that's enough for an hour.
There's no one else you'd want to see or check in on that maybe?
Nah. I'm a lonely loser. Nah. I got a few friends now. Most of them didn't know who I existed back then. So it's not like I would go look for them. I might try to convince my ex-wife not to marry me. I don't know. That happened several years later, so I'd have to find her. I don't know. Probably nothing else.
Seems like a lot of your relationships you'd have to convince them not to pursue you. Were you pretty heavily sought after?
This is your life? What? This is not Candid Camera here.
This
I'm a
isn't
loser.
Candid Camera.
Nobody's sued after me, okay? Nobody wants me.
Well, apparently there's at least 2 people we just learned about that did.
No.
No?
Alicia was because she kept saying no to me. So basically, I would go tell her she's going to get fat. And she shouldn't have said no to me. And my ex-wife, that was a mistake. Man, even then, I got an hour. Maybe I can fix that one too.
So that it just never happened.
So that doesn't happen. Besides, I'll be a roadie for Rolling Stones.
It's living the dream.
That's right. Yeah, they'd probably find me in a hotel room.